I only write tracks for Steve Swift reviews. He punched me twice in the face and asked for a duel. The pugilistic prophet with newbies diagnostics, like Scroobius Pip but less toxic. The UK comic shooting stars never lost it. It's 2025 and the internet still dies. Guys are chasing algorithms like a crack pipe high.
Okay, seriously, Steve, I just got to get into this like right away here. We're going to turn this right down so we can have a little bit of ambiance. I am Chris. This is the Bees of Boxing with Steve Swift, which only can mean one thing. The most dubious privilege is mine of introducing Steve Swift. This is Steve Swift. Steve, how you doing today, brother?
Good day, sir. How are you? I'm all right, actually. It's the end of the evening.
Good for you.
You know, it's the end of a good day. Okay. And right. I'm feeling all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. But I has questions, Steve. I has questions about you gypsies. Okay? You British, because it's sorry. Did I misquote? Did I misgender?
You can't use the word gypsies anymore. You can use the word travelers. That is the word that you have to use.
Oh, why? What happens if I say gypsies?
Who does it
piss off, Steve? The gypsies or the travelers? Traveler in my day was a drink that you took with you in the car when you left the bar or the party. That's what a traveler is. A traveler is a good time. Okay. These guys are not a good time. I don't know if you've seen the news or not, but let me just play a little something from our favorite. Is he the Grand King or the King Father? Because if Tyson Fury is the king of the gypsies, what the hell is John Fury? Oh, I know what he is. Let's find out for ourselves what he is.
Run like a fucking bitch, Carl. Run like a fucking bitch. Where the fuck are you? Hey? The world's been calling me a fucking shithouse. You know me, Lennox. You know I'm no fucking coward. I was gonna fight you in your fucking heyday. Wasn't it true? Did I back away from you? That's right. So put some fucking respect on the name of John Fury and get that fucking Carl fucking here. He wants it, I'm fucking here. And anyone else in the fucking building, look here. The ultimate fucking male. The ultimate fucking male.
I mean, there we have it. Stevie's the ultimate fucking male.
I think we can have a bit of a discussion about the rules of the criteria for the ultimate male shit, if that's the word I'm looking for. What I loved about that was that he comes in looking for Carl Froch, and the whole idea is he can't find him because Carl Froch has run like a bitch. So he can't find Carl Froch. He then sees Lennox Lewis, who is cool and fantastic as usual, this specialist, and talks to him for a while. The whole time he's doing that, Carl Froch is standing side by side with Lennox Lewis.
So then here's my question, Steve. Okay, first of all, I have a few. Oh my God, I have so many questions about this. First of all, why is John Fury beefing with Carl Froch?
I've not seen any. I don't know. I don't know why he's beefing with him. I don't know whether Carl Froch said anything. Did he?
Well, I mean, could it be the fact that maybe Carl was just doing his current job? Now, the second question is, does John know what Carl Froch even looks like? Because he was standing right there. It wasn't like there was Lennox Lewis and nobody else because you couldn't see over the podium from there. No. Now, I could see, like, as you're looking up or whatever, maybe you couldn't see that, but you're definitely going to see Lennox Lewis because he is a beast of a human being. Trust me, I know this for a fact. I've met him a couple of times. Whooped my ass at pool in a little bar lounge in Toronto one time. Quite the gentleman. And you can hear him talking. Because John's trying to justify what he's saying and what he's, you know, Lennox. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was going to fight you, right? Yeah, you were, John. Yeah. I didn't back down from you, did I? No, you didn't, John. Oh boy. And
Yeah.
it puts Lennox in this weird spot, right?
Yeah, he's got. It's because he's got to go. He doesn't want to cause any more of a scene, and it's not about him anyway. So, as you say, he's trying to. He's always trying to enhance his bona fides. The thing with John is that he's got to. It's a difficult thing, isn't it? Because his son is bringing all of that cash in and attention and all of that. Yet he is the titular head of the Fury family, and in a culture of that nature, really important. I understand. So there's that as well, and all this stuff about I'm a real man and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Lennox Lewis was just. I'll just keep him sweet. He'll go away in a minute. He'll go away.
I mean, you're definitely right. If there's anybody to put the tit in titular, it's definitely John Fury. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that because he could sneak me down, seek me out, and also and shout, "Where's that Steve Swift?"
He could, but he'd be standing there looking at you and not know who you are.
No,
because that's what happened with Carl Froch.
Well, I mean, it's got to. There's one of two things, aren't there? Either this was a complete setup, let's talk about that in a minute, and ridiculous, or Carl Froch is thinking, what am I, chop fucking liver? I'm actually a former champion and you don't even realise who I am? That's got to be, I mean, you're going to see that on Froch on Fighting, aren't you, or Froch on Froch? Because he's going to have to say, well, obviously, he didn't recognise me because I'm older than now. He must have seen him on telly, surely.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Or was the whole thing set up by Carl to try to keep people mentioning his name yet again, the puppet master that is Carl Froch, trying to desperately be out there stroking his own ego? Is that what you're saying, Steve?
I'm not saying that, obviously not, because once again, what I don't want is a tag team of Big John Fury and Carl the Cobra Froch knocking on my king door. There's no way. Ding dong. Who's this? Oh my God, it's Carl Froch.
Well,
behind him, John Fury. I'm going to bash your face as well.
It's a good thing we've got VPN.
Yes, and the thing is that it's either that or tell me. I don't know if this is correct, but
sure.
Was that after the press conference for his son and Arslan Makhmudov? Was it or not?
I don't know if it was after, before, during, but it was the same day of, right?
Right.
This is what we were talking about. What the time frame on it was, I'm not sure, but there's going to be more. I mean, is this going to be the thing for the entire camp? Is like, where in the world is Carl Froch, and the game is being played by John Fury? You know what I mean? Does this become the game where he just keeps walking past, the videos keep showing up, where he keeps looking for Carl Froch? He's walking through the diner looking for Carl Froch, and the video just kind of scans by, and there's Carl sitting there eating his meal.
or he says to Carl Froch, "Have you seen Carl fucking Froch? I'm going to kill him." No, not seen him, mate. Not seen him.
while wearing a shirt that says, "Hi, I'm Carl Froch," and it has a picture of himself on it.
And on the back it says, "Knocked out George Groves in front of 80,000 people." Well, I just wonder. Well, there's two things. The first thing is, I would love that as a series if you got Darren Till involved as well, because he's been talking to the Stamping Ground, folks, about that fight, and he's still up for that fight. It's not gone away, Carl. You can't ignore it, because Darren Till doesn't do that. Darren Till continues until he's wrung every tasty morsel out of it.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Darren Till, because he's one of the guys that we've talked about. We've talked about in the past, right? And we've talked about what Darren's going to do in the future, because I don't see that Misfits Boxing is going to be a viable way for him to make some money. But there is a new organization. And this organization making a lot of waves, Steve. I'm talking about Zuffa Boxing. And Zuffa Boxing had ZB3, as they called it this past weekend, which, I mean, kind of cool. ZB3, right? By the which not nearly as cool as CB3. Fantastic movie. Shout out. You've never seen. Oh, wait, no, that's CB4. Which will be the next one, will it not? I'm just kidding you. Yes. Wonderful flick. CB4. Please go do yourself a favor. Check it out if you haven't. But ZB3 happened this past weekend. Did you get a chance to check it out? What did you think? And let's break it down.
I got a chance only so far to check 2 fights. I mean, really, I have to say, let's leave the main event for a moment and talk about the co-main event,
sure,
which was one of the nastiest knockouts I have seen in recent times. Not only did we have that uppercut spark out, but we had that with the foot and a kind of
when Umar Zambekov knockout round 2 Ahmed El Biali. That right. Shout out to everybody who jumped in right away, because that was not only was Zambekov outboxing him like they had said, and then to one punch knockout with that uppercut where he was out before the punch was even recoiled, before the arm was recoiled back, he was out. And so when he hit going backwards and you saw his leg shake like that, all I could think to myself was, whoo, I hope this guy has emptied his bladder before he went out there and fought, because if not, he definitely peed inside of his cup. That was brutal.
It was frightening, actually. I mean, and set up actually by body shots, which made him lean forward into that lovely uppercut. That was beautifully done. Whack him with some body shots, he'll come forward to try and do something, to try and bring it home again. Give him an up. That was extraordinary.
Yeah. And here's the thing about Zuffa Boxing. Like, if you watch a fight like that, and even the opening fight for the main card with Jaibrio Pe Benito against Abel Mahia, a knockout in round 3. That, you had 2 undefeated guys going in there, 1-10-0, 1-6-0, I believe. These are a couple of guys, neither one of them knew how to lose, but one of them definitely lost because he got knocked the F out. And then you got the main event where F.A. Ajagba took on an older Charles Martin, who Charles Martin had said coming into this, you ain't going to do a effing thing to me. You're going to have to kill me. Like, he had a lot of big talk for a dude who is just eating punches. I mean, Charles Martin's done some things in the past, but was this a proper fight for F.A. Ajagba?
No, not at all. And I mean, he's, but it's the kind of, and I'm confused as to what the contractual situation is with people like F.A. Ajagba, because, what Zuffa have said is, well, Jai Opetaia. And I just wonder what's going on with people like F.A. Ajagba. He's called out all sorts of people, including Oleksandr Usyk. But Dana White, after that event, said, he roasted Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya, unsurprisingly, but he said words to the effect of, I said I wouldn't work with sanctioning bodies, and we're still not doing that. Well, no, not right now, not as of today, but you will be when Jai Opetaia says, I want to be undisputed. And that's the problem they've got. I mean, I don't know, and I did a podcast about this. I don't know whether or not they're going to hive off that Sunday show. And then the rest of it is going to be like every other promotion in the boxing world that you've seen. I really don't know, but they need to jump in some way. I also think that F.A. Ajagba can call out whoever he wants. Mm-hmm. It's not about F.A. Ajagba, and it's not about Charles Martin. It's about Zuffa Boxing. And if you are unlucky enough to be their main event in these early goings then it's actually not about you. People will remember the event. They won't be talking about FA Jagba pretty much. And that's disappointing for boxers, but it is about promoters. And you don't hear people saying, wow, that Frank Warren, wow, fantastic. You talk about the boxers, but we're talking about Zuffa Boxing, not FA Jagba so much.
Yes, I agree with that, but I think that it's probably a little early for that. Because like in the early days, nobody was talking about Nate Diaz. Nobody was talking about, these guys that were coming in off of a show in the UFC and MMA stuff. I guarantee you, as soon as everybody's at work, people are going to be talking about Umar Zambekov. People are going to be talking about, Pei Benito, right? People are going to be talking about these guys. So, and the UFC and now Zuffa has a pretty good way of being able to promote their guys, to create stars. They've done it in the past. So what they're going to have to do, I think it's a little early. I think that we're still creating these stars, but I think that these other guys, like the main eventers, like you're saying, I think they're doing the right thing, because regardless of what you might think about, where they are in the grand scheme of things, by mentioning these other people by name and saying, hey, come over here and fight me, right? We're on Paramount and we're doing really cool things. Come over here and fight me. And he's calling out not just world title holders, he's calling out free agents. Let's remember that at the end of the day, that these are free agents that we're talking about. So you've got, when you think about some of the biggest free agents out there, you've got a guy like Oleksandr Usyk. You've got a guy like, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, right? You've got these guys, but then you've got to think to yourself, well, which weight classes is Dana gonna choose? Because he's already said he's only doing 9 weight classes or something like that. He's not spreading the wealth the way that boxing does, to try to, what we've said, to try to milk money off of as many people as the governing bodies can. So I think you're really going to see a shift in culture in a year from now.
Yes, I take your point entirely. And, I'm very curmudgeonly about Zuffa Boxing. Because right from the beginning, I said, why isn't it great already then? I've done all that because the stuff that Dana White has said, I've said all that about promoters. Well, and I'll probably continue to do that, but I take your point. If they are saying that here are the delineated weight classes and that's it, that's what we're doing, I would love that, because you can come up and, from 147 to 250 pounds, you can do that in a week and then you can fight for a belt. I really hate that. I think that it's sort of saying, well, it's not a serious situation. It's kind of saying these are all Supermen, but it's like saying this is not a serious combat sport. And that's what Zuffa Boxing wants to be. On the Sunday night shows, wants to be a proper boxing sport. So I hope he's going to say that's it. You stick in that weight class. We're going to have 3, 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 guys in those weight classes, and that'll be it. That's it. And you can't come out of those weight classes unless you're telling me that you're getting older and you can't make the weight, in which case you'll have to petition Zuffa Boxing to do that, and we'll make a big story out of it.
Well, that'll be an interesting thing when guys can't make weight, because we see that in MMA all the time. We see it in boxing too, not nearly as much, because what happens is if you can't make weight or you don't show up, or at least tell mommy and daddy where you are during the weight cutting process, they fine you all of a sudden, apparently, like $5,000. Like that happened to Ryan Garcia. What's up with that?
Well, he needed an extra day, didn't he? I suspect he needed an extra day. He only just made it, didn't he? So he needed an extra day. I just don't know. I don't know whether it's kidology. I don't know whether it's, look at me, I can afford to lose $5,000 because I've got this brand and now you're talking about me. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know if they just got it wrong and thought, oh shit, we're supposed to be doing the video. and or woke up and went, "Oh, we supposed to be I've done a video yesterday." Oh yeah, I just don't know.
It's wild to think, but it's going to be things like that. It's going to be instances like that that are going to make people go, you know what? Maybe I don't need to fight for the WBC belt. Maybe I don't need to fight for the IBS belt. You know, I can go fight for Zuffa. I can still make all of this money that I want to do. And I can be, you know, the Zuffa undisputed, you know, champion, just like the UFC undisputed champion. There's lots of other MMA organizations out there that could probably dispute that, but they don't. Just like what do we think that there's going to be, that the Zuffa belt is going to be disputed? They're going to come out with a belt that literally says undisputed.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do about it?
Yes, I mean, and you're right that needs to be time served, because people like me will micturate all over that thought to begin with. So I'm going, undisputed. What? No one's really fought for it. What a load of shite! And every time I use the phrase Zuffa belt on my podcast, I do, because I'm with Eddie Hearn on this one. However, you know, obviously we talk regularly, me and Eddie, and we chat, and he gives me his mimosa recipe, which is lovely. I mean, that fresh mint, I thought it wouldn't work, but believe me. Anyway, so he's also talking about the Zuffa belt, but you're right. Times to come, it will be a bit more special. But if you're someone like Ryan Garcia, you're not going to want to go to Zuffa, are you? Because you're not going to want to wear their clothing. You're not going to want to sign their contracts, which are, you know, from what I've seen, it can be a little restrictive. Could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it looks like that way. You're going to want to, and it doesn't look like you can really ascend to anything at the moment. But as you say, give it a couple of years, and if you've not got anything else in the bank, you know, as far as boxing matches go, then you might want to go there.
It's gonna be a thing. And then you think about guys like a Terrence Crawford, or you think about a Canelo Alvarez, and you think about them putting on these big fights. Because at the end of the day, fighters are egomaniacs. You don't get into this kind of work because you want to sit back in a corner and have people not pay attention to you. You're not a wallflower, right? You're out there because you want to be in the limelight. So if that is the prettiest girl at the dance right now, everybody's going to want to ask her to dance. And I see that happening, especially if Zuffa can keep the momentum going that they're going. And the thing is like the guy that they've got coming and fighting on ZB4, Zuffa Boxing 4, is Jai Opetaia, a guy who we've talked about many, many times here, who, you know, 2 fights ago broke a guy's jaw. Last fight broke the guy's neck. Like, this is a guy, you know, this is a guy who definitely should be doing very, very great things. That said, is this fight a Jai Opetaia? Is it worthy of Jai Opetaia's fight? Or are you still in Eddie's, you know, front pocket trying to make sure that the inside of his zipper is nice and buffed up on this one?
Not really, although I do admire Eddie Hearn saying we just couldn't deliver for him. You know, he needs those fights. Now, Brandon Glanton, who had been announced that he'll be fighting, looks better than Chinkara, looks the part, and he's a step up in that respect. So they have actually done quite well, really. You know, he can be sold as a tough cookie. You know, bulletproof Brandon Glanton. I think that Jai Opetaia wins in really quite short measure. But then the trouble starts, because then he's going, I mean, maybe he wants 2 fights. Maybe he wants another clever step up. And then the trouble starts. But whatever it is, there's trouble coming. There could be trouble ahead, because he's going to say, well, now I want the belts. And not that crappy Zuffa belt that's made out of tin. I don't want that, because I put it around my waist and I got green stuff. Not really, of course, but that's the narrative in some respects. Well, it's not really worth my while at the moment. I'll have it. It's not really worth my while. What I really want is that WBC belt. I'd like that. And they're going to have to talk to Mauricio Sullivan, who has said, I'd love to help you with that, lads, if you work within the rules.
You know, it's funny when you started that statement and you said we were talking about Jai Opetaia and how he had to leave and how Eddie Hearn just basically said it's because we didn't have anything for him, right? That's kind of a shame thing, you know, to say, especially coming off considering that Eddie, you kind of played a little bit of mush face, a little bit. Just a little bit of like couple of up your irons to one Mr. Ben Shalom when you were talking about Ben Whitaker, because Ben Shalom had nothing for him. Oh, poor Ben Shalom had nothing for Ben Whitaker. Ha, ha, ha. Look at us. But yet you just did the same exact thing with Jai Opetaia. Come on, guy.
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
And talking of Ben Shalom and Eddie Hearn, if the reports are correct, Ben Shalom has said, okay, BBC, I know we've had some trouble with our main events, but you ain't getting that Jamie TKV and Richard Riakporhe fight either, because that's going to be on, if reports are correct, the Tyson Fury Makhmudov card. That is fantastic for Ben Shalom. You know, I've got a lot of time for Ben Shalom, and I think that's brilliant. And I think it showcases boxer, and it also showcases the BBC to a certain extent. And the BBC will accept another fight because all those fights have been fantastic. So people are coming in who are not watching boxing generally, and that's what they want. So big up Ben Shalom if this is true, and fantastic for Jamie TKV and Richard Riakporhe, honest to goodness boxers. Can't wait to see that and to see Ben Shalom's face when he's looking at Eddie Hearn.
You mentioned that, and I would love nothing more after watching this week to watch a fight somehow be set up between a Richard Riakporhe and F.A. Ajagba.
That's a good fight. That's a really good fight.
Right? That's a good fight for a couple of up-and-comers. Right. And you get some Ben Shalom rub, gets a little bit of rub on Paramount over there. Listen, we saw Teofimo Lopez hanging out at Zuffa Boxing this past week. So anything possible. I mean, it is Vegas after all. So, you know, they can have anybody show up there. They're going to have meetings and they're going to be signing some people. Yes.
Everything is so fluid, isn't it? Do you get Riakporhe versus Ajagba, and do you get Paramount Plus for Zuffa? And also a little bit of honest to goodness and marvelous British BBC action. Do you say, I'll show you that main event on the BBC. We'll have that free on the BBC. Nothing else, but that could be on the BBC as well. Because we've already got the Paramount Plus money, because that's probably, you know, that's your worldwide stuff. BBC is the kudos that we need as Zuffa. That would be extraordinary. And this BBC thing, it travels so well.
Yeah. And it's head up by a guy who's the young guy at the table next. Right. And literally the way that, you know, the relationship and the back and forth is going to go between Eddie Hearn and Dana White. Dana's going to be looking for some new friends.
Yes. I mean, I think that Eddie Hearn's trying desperately I think he's tried it lots of different ways. I think he's tried, I'll fight with you, I'll play fight with you. If you want a war, I'm up for that as well, guy. I think it's great as Zuffa Boxing. I really like it, and we get on ever so well. Now Dana White said, words to the effect of Eddie Hearn is not on my level, I think, after the fight. I don't agree, not in boxing. I think Eddie Hearn is definitely on his level. I think, you know, I know he's got the money of Turkey behind him, but he hasn't got the experience, and he's got guys around him. But Eddie Hearn has that experience, you know. You wouldn't be saying that to Frank Warren, but then Frank Warren hasn't been getting involved with any of that. He's just pulled back.
Exactly. I think that Eddie Hearn has been listening to John Fury too much. I think there's something going on. Maybe it's the wintertime over there in jolly old England. You Brits need to get some sunshine. Apparently, y'all are going like batshit over there. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we never get any sunshine. There is no sunshine. Well, when we get the 2 days of sunshine in June or July, we complain about it, and then it rains again in August, and we think, it's more like it.
Well, listen, like a good man once said, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Right?
Right.
And we also know, and even a smarter man said,
come to the children. Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children.
I mean, how can you argue facts, Steve? How can you argue facts?
You sprung that on me, you swine.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here at the Bees of Boxing. It's like a quick little uppercut. Boom. Because you know what you got to do. You know damn well what you got to do, my friend. You got to tuck your chin.
Wrestling, rock, pop, books, films, TV, boxing. All of this is covered on Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews. I am he, Steve Swift, a UK guy. What you get is all of that. And a funny voice, and even a funnier face. See? Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews. Come to me. I've got a review. Just for you. Ta-ta.